Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome back. We used to be called Digimon TCG Scotland, but we've rebranded to Scots TCG because we might want to play other card games as well on this channel. And we've been absent since around about BT5 for Digimon, so a whole other 5-6 sets have come out since then. A bunch of things happened in our lives and we couldn't continue with the channel, but now things have settled down a wee bit. We want to come back at a more sort of relaxed pace. So I thought the best thing to maybe do would be to explain that, and hopefully you'll welcome us back. And then we can crack on with box openings, deck videos, matches, things like that. We might even cover Pokemon, One Piece, other card games as well. That remains to be seen. But for now, I thought I'd ease back in with a simple deck profile with a deck that I have been absolutely loving, BlackWarGreymon. Now, BlackWarGreymon BlackWarGreymon Gaiomon won the London Regionals, which I was a judge at, and I had the pleasure of spectating the finals match, and it was a very good match. And I've been playing Black War for a while now, and I've updated it to BT10. Not a lot of changes when EX3 come out. In fact, I don't think any changes when EX3 comes out. So this is pretty much what I'm going to be running up until BT11, in which we get the BlackWarGreymon X antibody support, which is going to be super fun to play. So if I don't nudge my tripod, why don't we kick off with a deck profile about BlackWarGreymon. So, we begin, as always, with our Eggies, our Digitama, and we play 4 Koromon. That's basically it. While this Digimon has Agumon or Greymon in its name, it gains +1k. This is super relevant, super important to swing over 15k, things like Death X and Mother D Reaper. This is really important. Run 4 of them. You can also run one of the BT5 Koromon that lets you draw if you're a Greymon or an Omnimon, etc. But other than that, please don't shame me for not having 4 alts. Other than that, 4 eggs, that's all you need to know. So, let's move on to the level 3s first of all. So first of all, I am playing 4 copies of Black Agumon, or just Agumon from BT8. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Greymon and a Dragonkin. Almost everything in your deck is a Greymon or a Dragonkin, apart from some of the level 4s. So Agumon should be getting relatively good hits off of this each and every time. We are playing, now this is an odd choice, but I swear it makes sense. We are playing 4 of the Ludomon from the new Ragnarlordmon starter deck. Now the reason that we're playing this is not for its on-play effect. The on-play effect is optional, so you never have to use it. And because you don't play any other Legend Arms apart from Ludomons, you should never have to need it. In a pinch, you can use it, play it under itself to get an extra card in your hand, but that's not its purpose. The purpose is the opponent's turn inherited effect is when you have a Digimon that's red, or a Legend Arms and its traits in play, this Digimon gains blocker. Now, you're not going to have Legend Arms, but you are going to have a red Digimon in play. It counts itself, and since every single colour from level 4 upwards is at least black and red, this will trigger its blocker. And because the level 4s that we play Deltamons as our primary evolve, this means that you still get the blocker effect, which is incredibly important for Black War, especially in this format. And to round it off, we're playing 4 copies of Solarmon. Solarmon stops things like Death X, it stops the Crossheart deck from being able to function properly, it stops Blue Flare from being able to function properly. It is incredibly important, and all of these cards evolve from a red, so Solarmon's a great choice. You could also, if you're going for a full black base, change up the Koromon eggs and add in the new Chikurimon that does the same thing. But otherwise, 12 level 4s, pretty simple. Helps if I don't punch my tripod halfway through. Pretty simple and self-explanatory. Moving on to the level 4s, we are playing, as mentioned, 4 copies of Deltamon. Deltamon's your turn effect is that when it digivolves into a 2-colour card, you reduce the digivolution cost by 2. Really important because it makes your Metal Greymon and your Mega Dramon evolution a 2 cost as opposed to a 4 cost, which can be reduced further with some of the tamers that we play. This lets you get into your Greymon without passing the turn. It is really, really good. And it's when attacking effect for each of your opponent's Digimon For each of this Digimon's colours, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3k or less. That can come up as well. So you should be able to pop 2 things when you're swinging, and it will get around things like other Solar Mons, other like memory blockers, things like that. We are playing 4 of BlackWarGreymon, BlackWarGreymon. This is when you have a red Digimon in play, it gains blocker. It's the exact same as the level 3. And if you can't go into Deltamon, you want to go into Greymon. You might end up doubling up on blocker at some point, but that's totally fine. The blocker is really important because this is a very aggressive meta, and being able to block things is really, really relevant, especially since you're going to be at a high DP blocker. And then we've got 3 one-offs that just round out the level 4s. The first of which being Greymon X Antibody. This can only evolve over this Greymon, so it doesn't make sense to run it more than a 1-of, and it gives you the protection from deletion effect. We are running 1 copy of Monochromon, a black-red blocker. You can slap this down for a 5 cost if you need a blocker. Don't ever attack with it because you'll lose a lot of memory. But it is just a solid another 2-colour card you can evolve into. And finally, 1 red Agunimon. This is just your hybrid for game shenanigans. I found that I don't need this in all of the games that I play, but it will come up eventually. And you'll always find yourself wishing you had a hybrid at some point. So those are the level 4s. We're playing 11 of them. Moving on to the level 5s. We play, of course, 4 copies of Metal Greymon, black-red. When digivolving, you de-digivolve something once and then pop a 3k or less. Super important, super good. This lets you de-digivolve your opponent's Shoutmons, Blue Flares, anything like that. It is really, really, really strong. And its inherited is also incredibly strong, to the point where I'm like, why haven't they limited this card? But I'm taking the non-limited, to be honest. It's really good. Once you evolve, as long as you're a Dragonkin or a machine, we don't care about the machine bit, but the Dragonkin bit, it lets you attack unsuspended. That is so good. It's so strong. It lets you swing over your opponent's big guys. Just 100%. If you can evolve into this, do it. It's really good. Then we are playing 3 copies of Megadramon. Megadramon from BT9. It's when digivolving, pop a Tamer or a Digimon with a play cost of 3 or less. And it's when attacking skill does the same thing. And it's not a once per turn when attacking skill. So if you swing once with Black War, pop something, like you could pop a Digimon, you unsuspend from Black War's effect, which we'll talk about in a moment. And then you get to swing again and do it again. And it's really, really good. And then we're rounding off with 2 copies of Metal Greymon Alterius mode. This is the promo. If you've got a Tamer in play when digivolving, delete a 5k or less. This deletes really, really strong cross-heart things, and its inherited gives you the protection effect. So if you've not evolved into the 1 copy of Greymon, if you can evolve into this over your Metal Greymon, then you're just as protected. So very, very good. Moving on to the level 6s and above, we are of course running 4 copies of the big daddy himself, BlackWarGreymon. BlackWarGreymon's when digivolving is if it's got a red Digivolution card, it can delete Digimon. If it's got a black Digivolution card, it can delete Tamers. You will always have both because of how this deck evolves up. So you get to choose anything that adds up to a play cost of 3 or less. 6 or less, and then delete them, which means you can delete 2 Crossheart Tamers or 1 Memory Setter Tamer or some Solar Mons, etc. Really, really strong. And then it's all turns ability. It's once per turn. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted, unsuspend this Digimon. So in this effect, you can swing with Metal Greymon underneath, swing at an unsuspended unit, delete it, unsuspend, and then you're still able to block for the next turn. Or you can swing again. Really, really strong. Play this as a 4 of. It is really important. If you block something once per turn on your opponent's turn, as long as it's deleted and you're not deleted, you can unsuspend it. Really, really strong. We are playing 2 copies of Gaiomon. Gaiomon is Black War's X-Antibody form, at least until the BT11 set comes out. This has a security attack +1 and reboot naturally, and when digivolving, it de-digivolves 1 and then blitzes. Again, if you evolve it from the Black War. If you don't, if you evolve it from the Metal Greymon, it is expensive, so just be aware of that. It's a 5 cost as opposed to a 2 cost. But one of the very typical combos with this card, this deck, is you'll swing with your Black War at something, it'll be deleted, you'll unsuspend, and then you'll evolve into your Gaiomon and Blitz into security, and then you'll reboot, and you should have a blocker underneath it, so the reboot blocker gives you another blocker. Now, it doesn't unsuspend itself on block, that's just Black War, but, you know, it's still pretty good. So, 6 level 6s, and for level 7s, I wonder if you can guess what we're going to be playing. That's correct. 2 copies of Death-Exmon. Death-Exmon, it's a super powerful card. No idea why it's not been limited yet. It reduces the play cost. You all know what it does. De-Digivolves, pops level 4. End of the opponent's turn, it deletes the opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Super busted in Crossheart because they flood the board with tamers. You play this for free, delete all their dudes, and then it sits on the board. If you can get this out for a cheap cost, absolutely do it. It is always got value. And yeah, it's just super, super strong. Highly recommend you run 2 of them. And moving on to Tamers and Support, we are running 2 copies of Hero. Now, Hero's effect is if you're a level 5 or higher, when you attack, you can tap Hero to gain plus 2k. We are not playing any DP boosting Digimon aside from the Koromon eggs. So basically what that means is that your BlackWarGreymons are going to be 13k, and your Gaiomons are going to be 14k. In order to swing over things like Death X and Mother D Reaper, we need a DP boost, which is where the Hero comes in. The deck is more about control at the moment, in my opinion, as opposed to just OTK. You could swap this out for Tai if you wanted to, not a problem with that. But if you don't want to and you want to be able to swing over really powerful things, play the Heroes. They're very, very strong. So we're playing 2 of those. We are playing, I am playing 2 copies of Maki Himekawa. Maki's on play effect lets you search the top 3 for a 2 color and a Tapiamon. Now we're not playing Tapiamon. I would like to fit it into the deck, but there's no space at the moment. It might be good later on, but this searches for a 2 color, so super handy. And then when something evolves into a 2 color, you can tap Maki to reduce the cost by 1, which means you can potentially go into a Metal Greymon for 1 cost or even a 0 cost, which is insanely strong. I wouldn't run her at more of a 2 of, you can only want to see 1 per game, but she is very, very powerful. And for options, we are running 2 red memory boost. Now, I'm split on this. I don't know whether or not it should be the red or the black memory boost, but because our hybrid is red currently, I'm sticking with red memory boost. But because there is more black than red in the deck, you can make the argument for black as well. I'm going to test both more thoroughly and see what I like, but for now, we're going to keep it as red memory boost. We have 2 copies of Crimson Blaze, 6 cost. You reduce this cost by 1 for each Digimon your opponent has in play, and it deletes all 6k or less, and then your opponent can't play Digimon by effects until the end of their turn. Really good. Stops Crossheart from playing their Tamer and playing their guys out, things like that. It stops security Digimon coming out, etc. And finally, we round off with 2 copies of Kongu. It stops 7 play costs or less from attacking until the end of your opponent's next turn, and cards can't be added to security stacks. So one of the roughest matchups in the game is against security control, or against anything really that plays chaos degradation, because you've got your big boy Gaiomon out with 85 million Digivolution sources, and then your opponent just chaos degrades you, and that's it, and you're like, right, cool, all my work is gone. Playing Kongu at the end of your turn, if you've got the memory to spare, protects this from being chaos degraded, meaning it's going to stick around unless something else swings over it, like another Gaiomon, etc. But that's a 1 matchup. Kongu is also super good to stop rush decks and stop Crossheart from attacking with their level 4s, etc. So yeah, that is the deck profile, guys. If you have any comments or any sort of opinions on it, what are you playing this format? Do let me know. I'm glad to be coming back to the channel and hopefully getting trying to spread the word that we're back and all that sort of thing. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you have a great day, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.